Hi, how you doing? This is the Gamertron and welcome back to the Gamertron Show, and welcome to my review of the Overwatch beta. Keep in mind this review is specifically dedicated to the beta, not the full complete game of Overwatch. This is an incomplete and unfinished version of the game which is not entirely representative of the final product. Just be sure to keep that in mind. So, Overwatch, the newest and next big AAA IP, as well as developer Blizzard Entertainment's very first-person shooter. So, how did the beta fare? Did it get me excited for Overwatch like everyone else? How was the beta and did it serve its purpose? Well, let me share you my opinion on that. First up, let's talk about the main menu. A very nice and simple main menu with a few little complexities and extras to boot. The main menu shows off one of the 21 playable hero characters in Overwatch. It's randomized which one is put on the screen in the main menu every time you boot up the game or go back to the main menu, as well as the background, the map in the background changing as well as the hero. So you get kind of a sneak peek, a preview of both the playable characters and the playable maps, as well as it just looking nice and presentable overall, very colorful, showing off the game's visuals. As for what's on offer and selectable in the main menu, if we go over to options and settings, you will find that Overwatch is up to snuff and up to par with what is expected of any PC game, and that is a ton of settings and customizable options for both graphics, audio, and gameplay. Now moving on to the actual content that was available in the beta. You had access to a tutorial, a training room, a play versus AI mode, custom games, a weekly random mode, and quick play. The tutorial has you playing as one of the selectable 21 playable hero characters in the game, teaching you the basic controls, so on and so forth. The training room basically gives you this small map, a kind of free roam environment with training bots littering the map, where you can test out all the heroes, their different abilities, and just shoot at training bots. Play vs AI is actually a co-op mode, having you play on a team with other players online while battling against a team of AI opponents. Custom games is basically private matches, which are extremely customizable. I was very impressed by all the options available in custom games, as well as being able to set up private matches with altered and edited rules with players or adding AI bots. One thing that drastically concerns me though, is that when it comes to play vs AI and custom games, the only AI bots available are only for 6 specific characters, not all 21 characters that are playable in Overwatch. Here's hoping that this is just for the beta and not entirely representative of the full game, because if the full game of Overwatch launches with only 6 bots for only 6 of the 21 heroes, let's just say if that's the case for the full game, I am going to raise a little hell. But hey, this is just a beta, they have to limit content somewhere at some point. So only 6 heroes selectable as bots, just for the beta, is fine, expected, acceptable. Full game though, all 21 heroes better be selectable as bots. Just saying. With the weekly random game mode, how this works is every week, there'll be a unique playlist of PvP matches that utilize unique rule sets. For the beta, we were given a unique game set where you couldn't select your own playable hero. When you got into a match, the game selected a hero for you, which was very unique. I'm looking forward to the full release of Overwatch to check every week to see what the new weekly random game mode is. And I think it's an excellent choice which random game mode they chose for the beta. And quick play is your typical PvP. It's the multiplayer. Quick play is the multiplayer. As stated before, there are 21 playable characters. All 21 playable characters were available in the beta. Very nice. And also, all the maps were available in the beta as well, which surprised me deeply. Usually in betas, they limit it to 2, maybe 3 maps. In the Overwatch beta, all 12 maps from the full game were available and playable. Content-wise, this was a very generous beta. Very generous beta. Up next, let's talk about the visuals, the graphics. So far, as presented in the beta, Overwatch's presentation is, for the most part, gorgeous. The game embraces its cartoony art style, with vibrant colors, soft textures, on top of that having a dynamic lighting system. For the most part, the environments and the characters were jam-packed with detail, and with its cartoony art style, it's a very visually appealing and attracting game. However, I do have a few issues when it comes to the visuals of Overwatch. There are a few props and textures in the environment, and even sometimes on the character models, that are just muddy and low resolution. And it's a very odd contrast when you notice these pixelated and muddy textures that are obviously just not as the same quality as all the other visuals around it. Here's hoping those few props, sections of the environment, and little itty bits on the characters that are both muddy and low resolution get corrected. Again, this is just a beta, but for the most part the visuals were top notch, especially when it came to a great deal of the special effects. Explosions, lasers, other particle effects and alike, all keep with that cartoony, animated art style Overwatch is going for. They fit the game really well with their simplistic look and vibe, and are overall just very nice to behold. Alrighty, it's time. It is now time for the most important part of any video game. The gameplay. How was the gameplay in the Overwatch beta? Now, quite a few other people have had early access to Overwatch for the past many months, including alphas and a multitude of closed betas. So quite a few special selected people have already gotten to experience Overwatch's gameplay surprisingly very early before launch. And for the most part, it has been mostly positive. Mostly nothing but praise for the gameplay. Now, after months and months of hearing how great Overwatch's gameplay is, what do I think after finally having played it? It's pretty damn good. It is certainly satisfying, versatile, and very fast-paced, including and promoting a variety of different playstyles through its 21 playable hero characters, all of whom which play completely differently from one another, but have enough in common in terms of familiarity and feel that they feel like they're all part of the same game. There are certain other video games that feature multiple playable hero characters, where the characters play so differently from one another you almost feel like they could have their own video game. In Overwatch though, the characters feel just a tad bit similar enough, each containing this familiar feel to one another in terms of controls that it all feels grounded in the same universe, the same setting, the same video game, while at the same time having these characters so varied and diverse from one another in terms of playstyles and designs and tactics and speed and DPS, and even a few unique mechanics embedded into each one of them, that it adds for a great deal of variety and versatility and choice and freedom. There are certain characters that deal more damage but are slower, certain characters that are better for defense, certain characters that are better for offense, certain characters that are great for hit and run, certain characters that are excellent supports. However, the overall encompassing gameplay remains frantic, fast, and surprisingly balanced and fun. For some reason, and I don't know why, when I was playing Overwatch, I couldn't help but get flashbacks and vibes of playing Unreal Tournament. I know, you wouldn't think it from looking at it, but for some reason I was getting feelings and memories of playing Unreal Tournament, even though Overwatch is vastly different from that game. Maybe it's from the vast amount of color, the satisfying and diverse weapons each of the characters possess. I don't know, this game has nothing to do with Unreal Tournament, it looks nothing like Unreal Tournament, but for some reason when playing Overwatch, the gameplay reminded me of Unreal Tournament, and it shouldn't, I don't know why it does. A lot of people have been making comparisons of Overwatch's gameplay to that of the gameplay of Team Fortress 2, and while I understand that comparison and I can see that comparison, when playing Overwatch I never got any vibes or feelings of playing Team Fortress 2. Overwatch just seems so much more fast-paced and diverse. But hey, that's all just me. Now each of the 21 playable characters, as I stated earlier, fill a variety of roles: attacker, defender, support, medic, tank. But all of them take on these roles in unique ways, like the character Reaper, who dual-wield shotguns. His abilities are for the most part about allowing him to get into close quarters combat with his enemies to deal the maximum effective amount of damage with his shotguns. One ability making him move faster and become invulnerable for a short period of time, and another ability allowing him to teleport from one spot to another, allowing him to flank, outmaneuver, or get up close and personal. Then we have a more tankish character like Reinhardt, who, while the most part is melee focused, has an amazingly useful ability to create this giant shield wall, which moves with him, allowing him to defend objectives and teammates from enemy gunfire, allowing him to soak up damage, push the offensive, or hold the line. While we have a simply amazing support slash medic class from the character Mercy, who can not only heal allies at a distance, but also give them a damage boost. And her ultimate ability, which each one of the 21 playable characters has an ultimate ability on top of their regular abilities, her ultimate literally revives allies from the dead, which in a PvP multiplayer environment, you get an idea of how drastically that can change the course of a game. The character diversity, the variation between the characters and their different gameplay styles, their designs, their special abilities are all top-notch while still keeping that fast-paced, satisfying, and smooth gameplay and control. And that all attributes very well to the available game modes, capture/defend the point, and move/stop the payload, where you are either on the attacking or defending team of the objective. And with all these unique playable characters, the gameplay simply gets bonkers sometimes, with crazy moves, ability combinations, last-minute saves, surprise attacks, tactical maneuvers, lucky shots, you name it. From any of your favorite or some of the most critically acclaimed multiplayer games, it is here in Overwatch. The beta alone for Overwatch has provided me with incredibly memorable, fun, and satisfying memories and moments playing the multiplayer. So I can say right off the bat that the gameplay is top-notch. Now, let me share with you some of the extra details I liked and disliked from the Overwatch beta, and what will be, or might be, in the full game. The music. I absolutely loved the music. The music just available in the beta alone in Overwatch is superb. Amazing music. Whether it be the main menu, the loading screens, the preparation for a match, the music that kicks in when the match is about to end, how when you're transferring from map to map, going from different location to different location depending on the location that the map is set in, the environment, the music reflects that. So if a map is taking place somewhere in America, you get some country rock. If it's in Italy, you'll hear a mariachi band playing. You get the idea, and that leads into the cultural diversity of Overwatch. I love how diverse Overwatch is with its characters, with its design, with its look, with its locations, its map design. It's a very diverse, all-encompassing game that people from around the world can play and see all the cultural references and inspirations. And of course, bots. There are fucking bots in the game. Yes, you guys know I am an enormous advocator for bots in multiplayer games. It still breaks my heart to this very day that Titanfall does not have player bots. So Overwatch, Blizzard, thank you so much for making the very minimalistic effort to actually put some damn bots in your game. On top of that, having a PvE mode where you can play with people against bots, not just in private custom games. Friggin' huge A+, just make sure all 21 heroes are selectable as bots, because if we're just fighting the same 6 bots for the same 6 heroes over and over again, well, it's not gonna make the bots that appealing, because the whole thing about Overwatch is that there's 21 different characters, and you're constantly going to be playing as and going up against these 21 different characters. But again, just a beta. Hope this is just for the beta. I also really like how the progression system in Overwatch is completely all about the cosmetics. You don't unlock super abilities or new weapons or anything like that from leveling up. It's simply new voice lines, profile icons, sprays, poses, emotes, and skins. Skins are going to be the thing you are progressing for in Overwatch, because the skins, especially the legendary skins, for each of the characters in Overwatch look awesome. Now, I do have some other gripes with this game with the beta besides the lack of character bots. Now, this is just a beta, and I completely understand that you have to limit content at certain points. Completely understandable. However, I'm not sure if this is just a beta thing, because all the gameplay I've ever seen for Overwatch has always been about the same 2 game modes: capture/defend the point, and move/stop the payload. I'm really hoping there's more gameplay modes than that. If you're gonna be a multiplayer-only game, you better have a ton of game modes for people to dive into. And while the base gameplay of Overwatch is insanely fun, you can only capture the point and move the payload so many times before it starts to get repetitive and even boring. Well, not for me. I personally never get bored of video games. That's just me, but I know for other players, for other gamers, for other customers, just capturing points and moving the payload over and over again will become tedious for some people. I'm hoping Overwatch has like Team Deathmatch, Capture the Flag, and just more game modes. But again, it was just 2 game modes in the beta. Here's hoping that when Overwatch releases, we'll have something equivalent to Team Deathmatch and Capture the Flag and all these other game modes. And lastly, while the game was balanced for the most part, there were a couple of characters that I found myself getting killed by over and over again. And in my opinion, these characters are just slightly OP and could use just a tiny little nerf. Those characters being Hanzo and Bastion. I find Bastion in his turret form, the DPS on his turret form is just a bit too high. Consistently throughout my time in the Overwatch beta, the players that were getting the play of the game and the most kills were the ones playing as Bastion. And usually the play of the game, the replay of an epic multi-kill that took place during the match, usually it was Bastion in turret form just mowing a bunch of guys down. So I think the DPS on Bastion's turret form just needs to be brought down just a smidgen. And with the character Hanzo, I find his arrows consistently doing one-shot kills with very little effort required from the player playing as Hanzo pretty annoying. I swear to God there's some aim assist going on with the arrows. Because when I was playing as Hanzo and when I was getting killed by someone else playing as Hanzo, somehow, even though the arrow was nowhere aimed at the head, Hanzo was somehow getting consistent insta-kill headshots by barely aiming. But hey, that's just my opinion from playing as Hanzo and getting killed by Hanzo. Also, Hanzo's ultimate ability, the 2 giant spinning dragons that damage everybody within an area of effect of where the dragons are going, it's really hard to tell from both sides the total area effect of the dragons. Like how close you need to be for them to hurt you and how far away you need to be for them to not hurt you. Could use a few more visual indicators to understand the area of effect of Hanzo's ultimate. But those are just some personal dislikes, some personal gripes, some personal criticism. So overall, what did I think of the Overwatch beta? I think the Overwatch beta more than completed its objective. It gave people a taste of the game and was an excellent stress test for Blizzard's servers, which ran excellently. No lag and no problems connecting to any matches on my part. And the Overwatch beta has firmly convinced me that Overwatch will no doubt be a fun video game. If anything, it's probably going to be the next big multiplayer game. The gameplay is so solid, the characters so fun to play as, the maps pretty well designed, the art style and visuals so appealing to a variety of audiences. I can absolutely see the positivity and the critical acclaim that Overwatch will receive and has been receiving. However, my only fear, despite Overwatch having the playable characters and having the maps, I do believe, in my personal opinion, that it needs more game modes, launch day or sometime soon after launch day, and of course having more of the playable characters playable as AI bots. But besides that, Overwatch is shaping up to be an awesome multiplayer experience. This was a great beta. And this has been my video review of the Overwatch open beta. Please let me know your thoughts, feelings, and opinions on this video and on the open beta in the comment section below. I love reading comments. I get nearly enough comments. Please leave a comment. If you like the video in any way, shape, or form, please hit the like button. Hitting the like button helps you, helps me, helps everybody involved with the video if you hit the like button. And if you want to help out and support this video, then please share this video on social media, Twitter and Facebook. And if you want to specifically help me out and support me directly, then please consider pledging and becoming a patron on my Patreon. Anyways, guys, that's been a video, and I will see you all later.